What's a unicorn hunter? A unicorn hunter is a very toxic term used across multiple alternative lifestyles. This is fairly new. This is something you'll probably never hear in a different recording or podcast because after having multiple conversations of the idea of unicorn hunter, I had to break down some normatives. What is a unicorn hunter?
Well, the first time that I heard the term or the phrase unicorn hunter was during a swinging kind of like group and exchange in which couples were seeking out what they call unicorns. And for people who don't know what a unicorn is typically a woman who is seeking, longing, wanting a couple to share sexual experience with. So in this group, the couples were looking for unicorns, and the unicorns were, looking for couples. So that's one of the first times that I heard the phrase unicorn hunter.
Mm-hmm. Good. So the unicorn hunter phrase and term has been taken from, like Sir Hustle said, from the swinging background, and it's been crossed over to the lines of polyamory. In swinging, it meant a young lady or a single or available person, because it could go male or female, but a single and available person who is typically, well, I guess, female, who is available for a couple, not only for sex, but also when you're talking about polyamory for relationships. And so it kind of jumps those lines of it being a purely sexual relationship to it being a relationship in which it's conducive to building growth, romance, dating, even merging homes and different lifestyles. So I think it's important to understand the reason why we brought up unicorn hunters. Unicorn hunter, like I said, is a toxic term, but it's important to bring it up because to say that you're a hunter you would assume that the person, the single person or the single female, is being hunted, and it's such a derogatory way of talking about dating. You want to get out of the she's being hunted to understanding that all adults that are in this relationship or available for this relationship type are consenting and making themselves available for this type of relationship. So unicorn hunter, that was kind of something that was used in swinging, but definitely we need to do away with that toxic term when it comes to polyamory because we're doing more than just fucking.
The term is problematic, especially when you're talking about polyamorous relationships. It gives the idea or it gives the image, like Urban said, that all parties are not equal. All parties are not looking for the same thing. For a couple to hunt someone would give you the image that that person is running away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it needs to be cleared up in that space anyway. You know what I'm saying? It is a term that was brought over from swinging and now introduced and used into the polyamory world. Again, we say that this is problematic, and before you use that term, you ought to know where it comes from, where it derives from, and what it should be.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I've heard of the term unicorn hunter, it's been very controversial topics. You're talking about 2, 3, 400 comments where people are trying to debate back and forth about if this is a toxic subject or not. And it is. I'm Urban Kingster. I'm gonna tell you, it's toxic. I don't give a fuck what nobody else says. It's toxic. We're gonna move forward saying that it is toxic, and to understand more about couples that are seeking singles, there's the consent. We want to make sure we're throwing consent in there, but also that each couple that's looking for a single individual, they're not locked into a closed triad automatically. And that's one of the other spaces that has been involved and attached to unicorn hunter is that this innocent female is being hunted. She's the prey of a couple, and she's going to be in this relationship, and they're basically going to lock her into this relationship, and she's unable to exercise her poly rights. And for some dynamics, that is true, but you also have to go back to the part where it's consensual. A young lady entering a dynamic with a couple have dated this couple. They gotten to know this couple. They know the terms and conditions that come with the couple. they're agreeing with the terms and conditions that's coming with the couple. So when things change, there's not a change of consent, but either the young lady should leave the dynamic if she's uncomfortable with what she agreed to, or there needs to be a negotiation of this is what I would like to see happen. And then there's that whole communication thing that adults do. We sit and talk and shit, and you figure it out. But stop thinking that unicorn hunting is a toxic thing that just has to happen in polyamory. It doesn't have to happen. We don't have to call it unicorn hunting. We can call it the same shit that other people are calling it when you date another person, except for we're vetting and dating single attractive people. And if the single people, which never tend to have issues with the couples unless it goes awry, they tend to feed on that victimization of, oh yeah, I was with this couple and they treated me this way, it was nice when it first came out, and then there's hierarchy.
They did all these things to me, which is very, very much being a victim and kind of staying in that space. I think what should be taken away from this is that the phrase in itself is toxic. And when you just throw it around without knowing the origins, you become part of that toxic behavior. You ought to look at couples who are seeking others in any facet, whether they're seeking other couples or seeking other single mates, just the same way you would see or view other poly people who are looking and seeking. We're all out here seeking our one or other.
Right.
So that shouldn't be, we shouldn't allow it to be toxic because a couple was doing it. That's not fair to the couple or even the young lady who was being looked.
Very true. So hopefully you guys can take that away. And remember, we're going to do away with unicorn hunting and just go back to good old-fashioned dating and courting. This is Sir Hustle, Urban Kingston. Come and see us again soon.